That hurt.
How's it going, everybody? Today we'll be redoing my table saw, and by that I mean we're going to redo the base of the table saw, because right now, as you guys can see right here, the table saw is on some wheels, and that makes it very slanted. So when I'm cutting wood, I'm cutting it at an angle, and I don't feel like that's very safe. So we're going to fix that, because now the table saw is completely level. It can hold my routing table, my lathe, my air compressor. What else is in there? My sander, my big fan, my lawn equipment, some air hoses. You can fit a lot of stuff now. So this isn't your traditional table saw build where I'm going to add like 1,000 shelves and things like that and drawers and make it the most complicated thing ever. I'm building a stand for my table saw so it's nice and level in my garage and it can house my other stuff. And this is more or less something that fits for me, that I've taken from other people's designs and formed it into my own thing, because I did buy caster wheels. Where are they? All right, this is a little heavy. I bought wheels for it because I thought, like everybody else, I wanted a movable table. I, in fact, don't. My garage is pretty small, and I thought, hey, it'd be cool to bring my table saw in the driveway and cut things, and no, it's not the best idea. This is really heavy. How heavy is this? It's 10 pounds. It feels like 30. So originally my table saw took designs from everybody else that I've seen on YouTube, and I've thrown them out the window because I don't like them. And I made it more functional for me. So the criteria for this table saw build, in all honesty, it had to be level. It had to be big enough that I could work with some plywood sheets. And I feel like it accomplishes that. It had to encompass the table saw itself so that the belt and the motor wouldn't get damaged from trimmings and things just falling onto it. The new table needed to have its own passive dust collection system, which it does. It's just a box, plugging all stuff. And again, it's my own stuff. It doesn't have to be the fanciest thing ever. It doesn't have to be perfection. It's your own thing that you build in your garage that works for you. And because this is my build, I have to go a little extreme. I used some angle iron from a queen bed frame that you get from the box store, just the metal angle iron itself. I had that lying around for like over 2 years. I finally used it. Yay for collecting things and finally getting rid of it. Haha. I actually use the stuff I keep. I don't just hoard things for no reason. But the angle iron, I have it on the bottom of the table saw build itself, so that way I can pick it up with my bobcat and I don't damage it, hopefully. There's no guarantee on that one, but I wanted it to be sturdy enough to where I can pick it up with my bobcat and just load it in my trailers and move it around. And this is just for like whenever I move in the future. It's just so I can move this thing without dismantling it or just getting rid of it, because that would be sad. I spent a lot of time on this. I spent like over a week building this thing. It took over a week to build this because I took designs from other people's builds and I was going to incorporate that into my table saw build itself, but as I was doing it, I realized it didn't work for me because I have 2 toolboxes, I have giant shelves, I have cabinets. I don't need more small spaces. Those are already all filled. I don't have room for more smaller stuff. I have big stuff that I need to put away. And because I have bigger objects, bigger tools to put away, I figured I'd make my table saw itself the big storage bin for my big stuff. So my routing table fits it, my air compressor fits it, my lathe fits it, my sander fits it. Some of my lawn equipment's in there. It fits the hoses for my air equipment. A big fan fits in there. A big fan fits in there. 3-ton jack fits in there. My jack stands fit in there. So it works. It's very well. And it's very stable. So I'm very happy with it. So for the top of the table saw build itself, I decided more function over form, so it doesn't look pretty. It looks very basic and ugly, but it works. It's all perfectly level. It gives it character. By that I mean like no one would ever do this. This table had to be at least 6 feet long and 41 inches wide. Reason being is if it's 6 feet long, I have just enough room on the right side of the table saw itself to take the garbage out and back in the garage, and I can also leave my garage if I want to. The main reason why it had to be 41 inches is to take into account for the table saw's width of the motor and the belt, because every time I'd cut something on the table saw, things would hit the motor and it made me very nervous that it would hit the belt as well, and that could just freak out the entire table saw and make it explode like a Michael Bay film, and I don't want that to happen. So the 41 inches takes that into account. That way we can build something over the motor itself so nothing will hit it anymore, and we will be nice and happy. So for the passive dust collection on this box, I am using hardboard. There's nothing too complicated on this. It's very simple, very easy. I'm just using a jigsaw to cut it out. I put it on the walls of the stand that I made.
Cool. Passive dust collection. Dust will fall in here from the table saw right here. And I'll have a door, maybe a sliding thing, a little thing to pop off. That's promising. Okay, that's stuck. Well, I don't have to open it up all the way, I guess. So just partial, vacuum all up, and then get the hammer out. Seems a little excessive. Works though. If you guys want to know, that's how I'm gluing up the handle. It's actually a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. It's not too bad, honestly. All things considered, it could be way worse looking. Definitely put wood underneath it though to give it more structural support because it bows a little bit and I don't like that. I have a battery terminal cable. Look at this thing. 600 volt wire. That's cool.
First, I had to take apart the old passive dust collection system that I made a couple years back. It was nothing fancy, just a 2x4 that I cut in half, and then I cut those pieces in half again. It's a simple frame, but honestly, it worked really well. So if that's all you can build, something basic with some scrap wood, it's still better than nothing. Way better than leaving sawdust blow everywhere and just pretending it's all fine. Unless you have a leaf blower and just blow it all over your garage. You can do that too. Next up, removing the saw from its original base. This was one of those move slow or regret it later moments. The cast iron top weighs close to 300 pounds, so as I was taking out the 4 bolts, I made sure not to bump anything. Once I started removing the bolts, the old base felt super flimsy and I did not feel safe moving at all, so I had help from my kid.
3, up, go, fast, fast. And down.
Next up was to secure the table saw to its new base. I drilled out 4 new holes and used some 1.5 inch threaded bolts to mount it down tight. Then I used some nylon nuts to keep it nice and secure, and hopefully they'll never move or otherwise I'll weld it. But with nylon nuts, with the vibration of the table saw, it shouldn't move at all. They should never come loose, so I have no worry on that one. This part, it's kind of a hassle. I kept dropping the bolts over and over and over. If I could go back, I wouldn't have enclosed the dust box yet. It made it way harder to reach underneath and get everything lined up. Eventually I got all 4 in and tightened the bolts down, and now that saw's not going to go anywhere. If you're doing this yourself, save yourself the frustration and mount the saw before you close up the box, because it was bad.
Bubbles in the middle. Bubbles in the middle. That's fine because the garage itself is slanted, so I'm not too worried about that. Again, fine. The garage is slanted. Perfectly in the middle. Perfectly in the middle. It's no longer slanted like this last time. So this is a big improvement from this to perfectly flat, so I like it. That hurt. Fuck. That hurts. Okay, we're good. It's fine. There we go. It's on there nice and good now. So this is why I don't have a mount for this thing, because I do irregular cuts like this. And it'll make it harder to just, you know, secure. My ceiling's only so tall. Just something to rest on. That's all. Oh yeah, way better.
Alright, here's the last bit we have to paint of this build. My camera decided to crop all footage, so everything I did on building inside of this build is not there, but I will show you guys everything I did though. We're just painting it to make it look nice for all the neighbors, that's all. I'd rather it look uniform color versus a patchwork job. That's all. So nothing too fancy here. So fun fact, before I got this roller, I was using a 2-inch paintbrush for the rest of it, and that took forever, let me tell you. I do not recommend that. Roller all the way. All right, so the table saw build is done. I had the removal panel in the front. Main reason why is so I can put my floor jack behind the table saw. I can access the motor mount if needed, change the belt this way as well, so there's no issues on that. And when I don't want it to look like this, I can just cover it up for the neighbors. And ta-da! Looks like one big panel, you guys can't even tell. This is what it looks like when you're at the end of the driveway. As you guys can see, I also painted the side panel white as well. All right, so my camera footage of me building out the inside got corrupted, so I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. On the right side, I have room for my writing table. Behind my writing table, I can put my swamp cooler. It gets pretty hot here in Vegas, so this thing helps me out a lot. I wish I had something else in here, like a mini split, but I'm not gonna spend a couple grand to stay cool in my garage, and I got this guy right here and I have a fan back there. So for right now, even though I don't like it, this does the job. To the left of this little area right here, I have the table saw and then the floor jack right behind it. For the table saw, I did shim out the back side right here just by like 1/8 of an inch or so. So now the table saw is perfectly level with the garage. I have no issues with that. The table build is also bigger than the miter saw station, so in case I do have anything like irregularly long, I can cut it with no worries about hitting that table. So that's good. To the left of the table saw, I have my tabletop lathe and my sander, and below these guys, I have my air compressor. I'm just gonna push this back in here. But eventually, I'm gonna put this on drawer slides, that way I can easily get it out and hopefully it won't be a big mess. And hopefully I can get the left side of the garage cleared out so I can move my Husky cabinet and my Task Force cabinet against the wall. Because right now I have Cobalt shelf cabinets on that side, but I have a lot of tools in there that don't really, they're taking up a lot of space. So hopefully, eventually, I can get rid of this guy and get an actual proper lathe and put it right here where the Husky's at. Again, goals for later. Like I said, underneath here, I have my air compressor. I feel like after one time of bending down here to turn it on, it's gonna be very annoying. So I'll eventually put the switch up here. It's not too bad. Speaking about switches, move the table saw switch to this side. So the cord right now, it runs to the left of the table saw itself, runs down, goes over to its own dedicated little outlet. So no issues on that. Painted it white. I figured painting things white would brighten up this garage, and it actually does. So I might paint the rest of it white, not too sure yet. To the left of all these things, I have my electrical lawn equipment, I have my leaf blower, I have my hedge trimmer, I have some Forstner bits, I got my pocket hole jigs, I got my screws for the pocket hole, spare gloves, air compressor equipment, a tire. The reason why I left the left side of this open of the table saw build is so I can grab my little electrical equipment on that side, because I also have my other leaf blower back there and some other lawn equipment stuff. So it's all kind of like smushed over there, but it works because I can grab everything outside on the keep walking inside of here. So it's not too bad. This table saw build it completes the shop, it encloses everything out, and it makes it feel like you're in a different room, which I kind of like. I didn't realize what people meant when they said like close off spaces, you organize it well enough, like it's going to change the layout. Yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, but it feels like an actual shop now, which is, to me, I love it. This is like a great feeling. Yeah, the shop's a little rough around its edges, but it's a shop now. It's pretty cool. So hopefully with this table saw build, kind of completing the shop, it's gonna motivate me more to make more woodworking videos. So I have a bunch of pine board up there. It should all be dry now. I'm gonna be making a lot of cool things you guys can make at home, and hopefully you'll enjoy those videos. So hopefully this build kind of gave you guys some inspiration. For me, again, I needed to house my big equipment. I have a lot of big stuff and I don't have a lot of room for it. So my table saw is the biggest thing I own. I figured why not make it a little bit bigger and fit more of my big stuff in here. I have more room down there. I can move that fan somewhere else. I have more room back there. I have a bottom shelf down there that I'm not using. So overall, I got more room to work with now and I do enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. It does help me out. It actually helps out tremendously just being engaging in the content that I make. So I do appreciate you guys watching, and thanks again. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Routing table's right there. Behind it can fit this fan or anything else. Right side of it is painted white, so in case I have my garage open, people see inside, it doesn't look just like that. Table saw's there. My lathe, sander, air compressors down there. Air compressor's tire that I ripped off because it wouldn't fit otherwise. Lawn equipment. There's my air compressor. One of like 5. I have too many of them. But yeah, that back spot right there, I can grab all my lawn equipment on the outside, no issues. And there's my gas leaf blower as well. I don't think I want to put anything right here, just because it's all like this entire tabletop itself is level with everything. I have my little outfeed table right here. It protects the motor and belt down there, which I'm happy. So the table is like 1/8 of an inch taller than this entire board. So nothing should hit that board and mess everything up. For my planer, I'm gonna elevate it a little bit and get some heavy duty slides so I can slide it out this way and just plane in this direction. And I feel like that would be for the best because it's right next to the dust collection and everything. But yeah, have my lathe on top of my table saw itself, lathe there, I guess, make stuff. Who knows?